Welcome back to another episode of Skid's Garage, and today we're going to see if we can get stuck into this and get it running on day 2. Ran into problems on day 1. Let's hope day 2 is a bit easier. So let's get into it. So welcome back to Skid's Garage, and we're going to try tackling this again for day 2. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to give this solenoid, I reckon it might be faulty, but I'm going to give it one more try. So I've established, I reckon it's these 2 wires here. So I reckon this one right here with the yellow tag is a negative. And then this one here, when connected to a positive through the ignition, becomes a positive. So that's positive, that's negative. That should join on the back here. And that should join a circuit that will allow both these terminals, that terminal and this terminal, to essentially join. So one will be connected to the battery, the other one connected to the starter. So when these 2 here join, make a circuit, it joins a positive to the starter, which should turn the starter over. But I wasn't having much luck with it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a hit with the persuader, the hammer. See if I can loosen it off. If not, I know the solenoid in the panel van that I've got in here should work, or was working. So I'll swap them over and try my luck with that. Once that's done, we'll start tackling everything else that needs to be done. But firstly, I need to get this car turning over. So let's get stuck into that. So I've got it turning over now via the ignition. So obviously the battery connected up like any other battery would. Positive, negative. Nothing fancy going on there. Then down here, the solenoid. I gave it a good old whack with the hammer and it seemed to come good. So I've connected up that one there, that one down there. One becomes positive on ignition, the other one becomes positive when you connect the starter via the ignition, and that just purely runs positive from the battery to that side of the solenoid. When these 2 smaller connections connect via the ignition inside, it then connects the positive to that side, which runs to the starter and fires the starter over. So it now turns over. Let's have a look. It's all hot wired here at the moment, so don't mind me. Stay there. There we go. Got it. Now, when I touch this black one, it should... Look at that. The car's now turning over via the ignition switch. My little hot wired system I got going on. So, now I can get started in trying to check to see if I've got spark. I know the distributor's loose, so I'll tighten all that up. I've got to do the timing because the timing's going to be completely out of whack. And then see if I've got spark. I know I've got spark with ignition to the point because I've checked that works. So it means the coil must be working. Everything's connected up properly. So let's tighten up this distributor, check for spark. Then I'll go take this off, sort out the carby, make sure that's all tightened down properly. So just a few little loose ends I'll tighten up, chuck some start your bastard down the carby and see if I get anything. So, right there, you can see there's a plate that holds the distributor. So I need to do up this bolt right here. So that's not loose because that's causing movement in the distributor. And then this one down here, down the bottom here, that actually tightens and loosens the distributor so I can actually spin it. So I can actually do my timing. So I'm going to tighten this plate up, put the distributor back in, and that should be that done. Then, having a look at the distributor, it's actually relatively clean in there. You can see how clean that is. That's the cap, that's really clean, and the rotor. So I reckon spark wise I shouldn't have too many problems. It's just getting it all timed in that's going to be the frustrating part. So anyway, let's keep cracking into it. So doing this plate is quite annoying. I've got to make sure it lines up with the hole perfectly so that the distributor slides back in nicely. But yeah, if it doesn't, I need to then move it. So I need it like loose enough to be able to move, but not too loose that it just flops around everywhere. So it's a little bit of a pain in the bum. See, the distributor's not going in, so I need to loosen it off. Oh, hang on. Yeah, see, oh no, it does have a slight bit of movement in it, so I might be able to get it. There we go, look at that. So I want it just loose enough so that with a little bit of force put on the distributor will spin like that, but enough resistance that it's not going to like just fall out of place. Especially if I get the car running and I start doing the timing while the car's running. Let's put the cap back on. I've got myself a trusty little spark tester. So this goes in there as a replacement for the spark plug, and then that is a replacement to the end of the lead. That goes on the spark plug, like so. And then there's a little bulb in there. So if there's spark, that bulb should light up. Okay, let's see if I got spark. Yep, got spark on that one. Don't want to be touching it. It's not nice being zapped. Yep, spark on that one. Just testing them all. The chances are if one's got it, all of them have it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yep, spark. And spark on that one. So let's get the timing light onto it and see how I go about getting the timing in. So that'll go on the first spark plug. That'll read a spark. When I push that trigger, a light will flash when a spark goes through there, and that just gives power to this, to the light. And then my little timing marks are down on the crank here, and I want the light to flash when the little notch that's on the crank pulley is aligned with my desired timing mark that's on the actual casing. To help this process, I'm going to pull all the spark plugs out, like the first one. That way it turns over a bit quicker. A bit less strain on the battery, a bit easier to actually time it in. Oh my God. Oh well, finger tight last time, and now they're Superman tight. Oh wow. Tighter than my liking. I like that. Nice and oily in there. No problem with lubrication on the cylinders, that's for sure. Okay, so haven't done this way before, so I have no idea how this is going to work. And because I've got no one helping me either, it's going to be a bit more difficult as well. Where's the mark? Okay, so to give you an idea of what I'm actually doing, so you can see down there, hang on, I'll see if I can get closer. Okay, you can see a little notch there. That little notch needs to line up with one of these markings that's on the casing. So I reckon the bottom one is TDC, so top dead center. Then I'm only going off from what it looks like. 4. Yep, so 4, then there's 8, and then there's 12. So that's 4 degrees, 8 degrees, and 12 degrees before top dead center. So I want it somewhere along those markings to get it started. So when that light flashes, I've got to see where it flashes. It'll show me where that lines up along here, that little notch. And knowing me, it's probably that out that it's not going to flash anywhere near it. So it's all trial and error. So I've just done the timing manually. got it as close as I can with my limited expertise. So having the ignition on, so obviously I've set this to top dead center on the crank. Then I've adjusted the distributor with the ignition on, and I've moved it until literally I'm just getting a spark on the points. So fingers crossed I'll be around the ballpark enough to at least get it fired up, and then I can fine tune it. So I'm just giving these spark plugs a quick once over with a wire brush just to clean them up a little bit. Give it every opportunity to fire up. If she fires up, she's going to be smoky though. There's that much oil in the cylinders, which isn't a bad thing. Everything gets well lubricated. I'm going to have vacuum leaks here on the carby manifold, so that needs to be connected up to the brake booster or blocked off, either one. We'll see if I can get a hose. The carby needs to be mounted down, and there's a little, no, that's water, so disregard that at this point in time. So fingers crossed that's all it needs to fire up. So there you go, spark plug's all tidied up. Now, let's do this carby. So, I have no idea what I've done here. Seems like I've made a bit of a mess of it. Especially on this one, because it appears the stud's coming out. Oops. Yeah, the stud's coming out. Far out. It's not what I want. Oh well. Another hiccup to add to the collection. Oh well. It's not the end of the world. So that one, the studs come out. So I'll have to somehow get that nut off. So that's the carby off. Let's clean up those threads. Let's sort out this nut first. So I wasn't going to have you sit through me abusing this bolt to try to get this nut off. After giving it a go with what I've got tool wise here, I couldn't get it off. So having a look around, the abundance of just random stuff in here, I happened to find this box, and to my amazement, I found these. I don't know what they're from. I can't remember. They look like manifold studs. Anyway, they're the same as the studs that are in the carby. Only the threads goes a bit longer down, but that does not matter. So the one on the right is the one I've replaced. The one on the left is the original. So I'm going to chuck the carby on. Obviously the nuts I was using with possibly the wrong thread, because I've taken these ones off. I've taken those off from the panel van. I've tested them and they slip on and off really easily, like properly. So let's get this carby on and let's get that one step closer to getting it fired up. Okay, let's tighten them up. Surprisingly, the carby gasket's actually in alright condition. I can't speak for the carb. Oh my god, hang on. It always leads to something else. The top half of the carby is loose. Not a good sign. I've got a funny feeling this carby is no good. I reckon I've got a bad feeling I took this carby off another Escort for a reason. I'm going to take the top half off anyway and have a look inside, make sure it's all sweet, it's not missing any parts or anything stupid like that. Worst case scenario, just take the carby off the panel van. Just trying to recall what this carby would have come off, if it come off anything. It looks complete. Lucky I checked. Needle and seats are seized, so that was never going to run. Let's get the negotiator and negotiate it to work. There we go, look at that. Oh, and just broke the gasket. All these gaskets are going to need replacing eventually anyway. I'm going to get it running with all the dodgy gaskets and everything else to start with. Then, if it runs and everything, I'll look at replacing everything just over time. If this is a carby I'm thinking of, the float might be a bit dodgy. I think I gave it a go myself to adjust the float and I messed it up. Rather than trying to actually fix it or getting it fixed, I just took it off and pinched the carby from this car to get my other Escort going, or another Escort. I have no idea which one it would have been. Oops, hang on. Forgot the gasket. There we go. Okay, try that. Everything seems to be working. Let's screw it down. Okay, let's give that a whirl. So, I'm going to put that on there, that on there. That'll stop those vacuum leaks. Then all I need is a hose from the carby here to the brake booster, and I reckon that's all the vacuum leaks done. Then we can try giving it some juice and see if I get any pops and crackles or bangs or backfires, or see if the shed burns down. Who knows what will happen. Okay, I've managed to dodge something up for this what would have been a vacuum leak. Carby's all secured, don't see any potential vacuum leaks that'll cause issues. I reckon we are ready to try our luck with firing it up. I don't have a lot of, I've got a bit of brake cleaner and start, you bastard, but I don't have a lot of either, so I may need to go for a trip to pick some more up, but we'll see how we go. So I swapped the timing around by about 180 degrees. So let's try again. Let's see if I have any luck. Let's get some of this down there. Hopefully I get something, at least a bang or something. I'm guessing the timing's probably 180 degrees out, and I might have had it right the first time. I'm going to swap it back around the other way, like I had it. Okay, let's try again. Fuck, another backfire. What the hell's going on here? I'm just trying to work out what way to tweak the distributor to make more advanced timing. I reckon this way. So let's try that. It's probably too much. So the battery is starting to lose a bit of oomph. So I have double checked the timing, and then it is correct. It's not 180 out. How precise it is and at what degree it's on, I'm not exactly sure, and I won't know until I test it with a timing light. But working off that being the first cylinder, that being the exhaust, that being the inlet, using that as a reference, and working off the 4 strokes, I've got the distributor correct, and it's not 180 degrees out. So hopefully with this little bit of oomph I'm about to kick this Escort with, fingers crossed I can keep battling it. Fingers crossed I'll get something out of it. It sounds like it's maybe ever so slightly wanting to fire up, but still a while away yet. So anyway, let's get stuck back into it, and fingers crossed she fires up. I don't have a lot of battery left, but so I wasn't going to actually film any of this to try to save some battery, but it's starting to cough. It really wants to get going, so I really want to get the first fire up on camera. Just giving the spark plugs a clean while the battery charged a little bit. Let's go. 6. I reckon it's timing. Come on, baby girl. Just advanced it a little bit more again. Oh. Might have to give it a rest. The starter is starting to smoke, so hopefully I haven't cooked it. Okay, so I've changed over the starter motor. I pilfered that from the panel van. The starter I had in it has left the chat. I've bench tested it and it's just temperamental. It sometimes sparks, sometimes doesn't, locks up, doesn't work sometimes. It's just, so I'm pretty sure that needs to be either replaced, rebuilt, whatever you do with them. Now I did test the timing. The timing is in fact between probably about 4 and 8 degrees, so that's more than good enough to get started. So I'm not going to touch the timing. Gave the spark plugs another clean, and I'm going to chuck this on the tripod and try giving it a start. Fingers crossed I get something out of it, some sort of life. confident she's going to fire up. She's getting close. What I'm going to do is take those plugs out and give them another clean. Okay, so I removed the spark plugs, gave them a clean. Now, I'm going to give this another go. Now, where is my starter fluid? There it is. Ignition, and let's go. Let me just double check everything, make sure I've got the right firing order. So I had the firing order, what did I have? 1, 2, 4, 3, I reckon it was. But having a look, online it says do 1, 3, 4, 2. So I might have had the firing order wrong. So this might be it. I'll chuck you back on the tripod and we'll go again. Oh, I'm feeling good now. Get out of this. Bit of go-go juice. Now I might have sort of put the leads on the distributor wrong, thinking the rotor went one direction when in fact it went the other. So I've changed that all around. What harm is there in trying? Because I'm not having an awful lot of luck at the moment. But you never know. This might be the one. Let's go. Well, there we go. There we go. Yes! I think I've got it. Wants to go. Let me check this. Let me check the timing again. Let's try again. Gonna get sick of hearing me say that, I think. I am determined to get this first fire up on camera. So I had 2 random Phillips heads which didn't belong on this Carby and one was missing. So just to eliminate any possibility of any unwanted vacuum leaks, just peel for parts from another car. Okay, so that's that. Let's try again. Still just trial and error at the moment. Starting fluid. So this is where I'm at the moment. I have double checked the timing. The timing I've set to 4 degrees. The timing, the firing order. So the rotor should go anti-clockwise. So this being number 1, it should, and the firing order is 1, 2, 4, 3. I've double checked it. The 1, 3, 4, 2 that I was referring to was actually the twin cam. So I've got 1, 2, 4, and this one over here is 3. So the timing is good, my firing order is good, I'm not touching that anymore, that's all set. I know it's getting fuel because the plugs, if I put too much crap down the Carby, there is just 10 tons worth of crap on the spark plugs, so I know it's getting fuel. And I know it's getting spark because I've double checked that as well. So, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I thought maybe that hole there might have been a hindrance, but that's actually water coolant, so that's got nothing to do with, that's not a vacuum leak. I've connected that and that up. I've connected up to this, so there's no vacuum leaks. That's the vacuum advance that goes to the distributor. That's all connected. I can't think of anything else. I even put in the extra screw. This one right there, that one there was missing, and a couple of screws were the wrong type. So I've pilfered them off the other carby, off the panel van. I don't know. I guess it's just gonna be, just keep trying. I can't see any fuel leaking from the manifold. I know there's heaps of fuel going to the cylinders, but I don't see any leaks on the manifold, so I'm assuming that's okay. Even if there is a small leak, surely I'd get something. More than what I'm getting anyway. So, I'll keep battling along with it. Rather than doing the start, stop, I'm going to keep tinkering with it. If it happens to fire up off camera, so be it. You'll just see the second fire up. So, I'm running out of time. I've got to finish up soon, so fingers crossed I'll get it fired up, but if I don't, well, there'll be another day spent on this. So, okay then, I'm going to get stuck into it more and see if I can get her fired up. So, no luck on day 2. I feel it's getting pretty close. He just didn't want to fire up. So, I'll come back another day, make it 3 days. If I don't get it done in the 3rd day, I'm going to probably accept defeat. So, anyway, I've got to pack up, get going. I've got things to do, places to be. So, we'll leave it there. And hopefully, I'll put a 3rd day into it, and fingers crossed she'll fire up. Getting pretty close. So, but anyway, that's it. So, I'll catch us all later.